Hello, everybody. My name is Presley. Well, I'm not in the business of speaking out on social media, but there comes a time when silence is betrayal, and I believe such time has come in relations to the ongoing conversations towards citizenship for Liberia. And even though, in particular, for Liberia this time, this clearly applies to any other country in transition. Dual citizenship has been in the news for some time now, and a few minutes ago, I came across this document that was posted in one of the social groups that comprises Liberians in the diaspora. And what the document is about is that it has outlined some proposed amendments to the Constitution of Liberia. One of the items has a focus on dual citizenship. So it says that people who hold the citizenship of other countries can also become citizens of Liberia. But what drew my attention especially is the fact that the administrators of this group, I'm talking about the social group on which this document was posted, were now calling for all members, all Liberians in this group, to attend a certain meeting to render their support for this document, which is claimed to be at the Senate currently for consideration. Well, what I want to say today, or my purpose in this video, is to sound a warning that this act or this idea of dual citizenship does not seek to serve the best interests of Liberia and Liberians, and as such, no consideration should be given to it. Now, what are the reasons for wanting this dual citizenship? What do these people say? Why are they asking? Why dual citizenship? Well, they tell you that one, we contribute a lot to the development of Liberia. We remit a lot of money back home. We send a lot of money to our relatives, and this constitutes a big portion of the revenue that is generated. And so this keeps the economy running. And because of that, we have the right to be citizens. They also tell you, well, we want to invest. Right? We've worked abroad for a very long time. Now we want to come back home and invest. So we need to be citizens. Number three, they tell you, well, Liberia should be our country. When we want to go back to Liberia, there should be no barriers. We do not need to apply for visa. We do not need to spend time applying for laissez-passer or any travel document for that matter. So we need to be citizens. But the question I ask, are these reasons genuine? So let's consider the first one. They claim that they are contributing a lot towards the development of the economy because they're sending a lot of money back home. Is this claim really reasonable? So if you're abroad, of course, being abroad doesn't mean that your entire family is abroad. In most cases, people who are abroad, and some of those people who've even changed their nationality, still have their relatives back home. So if you're sending money to your relatives for their survival, it is something in our culture that we should do. So you are only being a responsible family person, and you're telling us that because you're doing what you're supposed to do, right, the Constitution should be broken. Is this reasonable? Number two, they say being citizens will allow us the possibility of investing. We want to invest. So, must you be citizens before you can invest? What about the Lebanese that we have on Liberia, the Indians that are there, the Chinese now, who are sort of running our economy insofar as investment is concerned? Are these people citizens? Must you be citizen before you can invest in another country? If you want to invest, must you ask for citizenship? Why not investment incentives? Why not incentives to make the investment process much easier? Things like removing some of the bureaucracy, right? The process of getting the business registered, the security for the business, the infrastructure, these kind of things. Why not ask for them when you are asking to be citizen first? Number three, you are asking to be citizen because you claim that uh, you need to have easy entry, and so you can only have easy entry by becoming citizen. Well, we see countries have relationships where you can have a free entry in another country even if you're not a citizen. So if your reason is genuine, then why not ask for, say, for example, visa remover? Okay, we want to come home to invest, so we should not have these barriers, these restrictions where we have to spend a lot of time applying for visas. So we're asking you to remove the visas for us. Wouldn't this be much reasonable? Wouldn't this make more sense? But these people are asking to be citizens first, when they've already pledged their loyalties to other countries. So, what is the disadvantage of making these people citizens? It's something really to look into, especially when we try to carry our minds back to history in the 19th century and a large part of the 20th century, when we had the situation of the settlers making themselves lords of the cities, lords of the settlements. These were the same people from America who came back and used their position of advantage against the very natives who they met in Liberia. This is exactly the same thing we see when these people start to put citizenship first. So it's something that needs a lot of thought. I do not think that their request is genuine. There should be some kind of hidden agenda, some kind of selfish interest that is playing beyond or behind the scene, that our leaders, our policymakers should be very, very careful about. Now we have a country that has to develop. We have a country that has a lot of people who are so disadvantaged, a lot of people who are not in the position to compete. And now you entrust the resources, you entrust the country to people who've pledged their loyalties to strangers, I would say, because they're foreigners. And you give the country to them. Of course, they're in a better position. And because they have the advantage, the natives cannot compete with them. So they end up being the lords again. They make these investments, and the very natives now, we have to work for them. But because they have loyalties abroad, we cannot even be sure. We cannot trust them. We cannot be sure. We cannot be convinced that the profits, this will not even increase the rate of uh, money laundering, or the rate of resource transfer abroad. Remember, and let us not forget about this. Right? When you are going to become a citizen of another country, say America, for instance, you pledge, you take an oath. So ask them what kind of oath, what kind of pledge they make when they're going to be citizens of these countries. In America, for instance, you pledge your entire loyalty to America and America only. So how can you be effective? When you've pledged your loyalty to a certain country, how can you be effective on the other side? Of course, the country that is at this disadvantage will be Liberia, because Liberia is not in any position to compete with America. That's the first thing to consider. So I think if this should be considered, then let's look at the countries to which these people are already citizens of. What are these countries' laws insofar as dual citizenship is concerned? Do these countries also support dual citizenship? So say for America, for instance, if America has a law that supports dual citizenship, then you can say, yes, there's a place for Liberia, because it's allowed that people of America can also pledge some loyalty to Liberia. But if there is no dual citizenship law in America, which of course is the case because America does not have anything as a dual citizenship. In fact, when you become a citizen, you have to pledge your entire loyalty to America and America only. Then how can you distribute this loyalty that you do not have now for Liberia? So this clearly is against the spirit of patriotism. And we should not be having such a discussion now. And what I see is that a group of people want to be so selfish to have the upper hand, both internationally and domestically. So they have access to other countries, and they want to bring the influence now that they have, knowing that the natives, a lot of people in Liberia are poor, will not be able to compete with them. So they use that advantage to come back now, chip over the resources, enslave these people, and continue to rule them, just like the settlers did in the 19th century and a large part of the 20th century. I think if these people are genuine in their request, they will be reasonable. What they will ask for is not dual citizenship. If they want to invest, they will ask for investment incentives. If they want easy entry they will ask for entry incentives. But when they begin to ask for citizenship, then we should think about history. We should go back to the settlers. We cannot change history, but we should acquire wisdom from the past and use this wisdom to prepare the future so that the disadvantages that we suffer today will not be passed on to our children and to their children and their children. So I'm calling on our Liberians, patriotic Liberians, who seek to serve the interest of Liberia, to speak against this idea of dual citizenship. It is against patriotism. It is against development of Liberia. It is against the very indigenous existence in Liberia. We should be thinking about building our countries, and we should be thinking about using our resources, including our indigenous labor, because that is important to the development of our country. But when we start to think about entrusting our country to strangers, when I say strangers, I'm talking about these people who are already pledged their loyalties to other countries, because now they're citizens of other countries. So if we start to think about entrusting our country to them, then we should be thinking about opening the doors to worsening the current situation of capital flight, because we do not know their intentions. I think if somebody wants to go back home, it is easy to denounce the citizenship you have for the foreign country. If you genuinely or sincerely want to invest and go back to your country and commit your resources to your country, then you should be thinking about renouncing any other connection to other country. But when you still think about keeping the connection you have with other country, then we are not sure whether you do not want to use this, as a corridor for transferring our resources and continue enslaving our people. Liberians, let's consider this. I am very convinced that this is not going to pass, because we have people in the Senate who understand the cause for which they are called to office, and they know that they're there to work in the interest of Liberia. And I believe they know that dual citizenship is not going to be in the interest of Liberia, because even the fathers of democracies, say for example America, knows that dual citizenship is against patriotism. That is why even America does not support dual citizenship. So I know that the people in our Senate have this understanding, and so they are not going to allow such a thing to work in Liberia. And that all of us, Liberians, support all of those against that act, because it's not going to be good for us. Thank you, and sorry for boring you with such a long talk. Thanks.